Welcome to Menopause and Miracles, the podcast where midlife women get to rethink everything they've been taught about aging, identity, success, relationships, and who they're allowed to become next. Because somewhere along the way, many of us have inherited a set of relationship rules that no longer fit the women we've become. We were taught to be loyal at all costs, to maintain friendships out of history, to tolerate dynamics that drained us, and to prioritize being chosen over consciously choosing what truly nourishes us. But midlife has a way of changing the conversation. As we grow into ourselves, our standards often shift. We find ourselves craving deeper friendships, less drama, more reciprocity, and relationships that feel like a place to exhale rather than another obligation to manage. We begin to ask bigger questions. Who are my people now? What does true companionship look like? And who do I want beside me for this next chapter of life? I'm Suzanne, your host and your midlife wing woman. Think of me as the trusted friend walking beside you as you navigate one of the most transformative chapters of your life. I am here to help you rebuild that self trust, reconnect with the woman beneath the roles and responsibilities, and make confident decisions about what stays, what goes, and what's possible next. And together, we'll untangle old stories, raise the standard for your relationships, and create a life that feels authentic, fulfilling, and fully your own. So, today we're talking about relational discernment, the art of curating a village that reflects who you are today, not who you used to be or had to be. And so, from deep, low maintenance friendships and a chosen family to conscious partnering and a second act romance, we're exploring what happens when women stop collecting relationships out of obligation and start cultivating connections that feel aligned, supportive, joyful, and real. Because one of the greatest gifts of midlife isn't just discovering yourself, it's discovering who gets to come with you. This is episode 54, Midlife Relationship Reset, Creating a Village that Reflects Who You Are Now. So today's talk isn't really about friendship or romance alone. It's really about relational discernment. In our 20s, 30s, maybe even your 40s, many women build relationships based on proximity, obligation, history, caregiving, or shared responsibilities, parenting, your children's schools, who's around, who are your kids playing with. Sometimes that might be who your friends are. But by midlife, the question often becomes, who do I actually want beside me for this next chapter of my life? And I'll be honest, at first or at times, it can feel a bit lonely. But throughout today's conversation, I'll ask you to change your perspective. Today's topic is not about a total friend cleanse unless you feel compelled, but instead a way of seeing yourself differently versus why has everyone around me changed? So, it's my hope that you feel empowered to take responsibility for the life that you want to live and go for it. So, why midlife changes our relationship standards? Like everything else, when midlife arises, or I'll say hits, things shift and standards change. What you had the capacity or the capability for before, like typically no longer works, right? You don't get a memo, things change, you're changing, And it can be as simple as you used to like going out late and now you like going to bed early, or that you used to love places with loud live music and now you feel that the noise level in Starbucks is too loud with the blenders and the background music playing. It could be that you thrived in chaos and now quiet places are your jam. It just happened. It just happens. Changes happen. And we often experience a shift from, say, quantity to quality, being needed to wanting to be known, managing relationships to enjoying relationships, obligation to choice, tolerance to discernment. And I think each one of those is a dynamic shift, right? I mean, similar how we developed and maintained relationships. At 25, I was collecting people left and right. My social circle, social interest were just different and at a all-time high, right? Majority of my time went into being social. And at 55 plus, I am carefully curating my village of cool women that get my vibe. So you feel me? It's about deep, low maintenance friendships. Many women at this time, when they come into midlife, are exhausted by friendships that may feel like they have another job. And I can sometimes relate to this by just trying to schedule connection or fun with adults who are too busy or don't have such things as a priority on their list. And I want relationships with ease and flow, not a when can you fit me in energy. So you want you may want friendships where, say, can pass without guilt. And I have plenty of friends in this area, but I will be honest, where I'm at is that I have a few friends who are local and I want them to be spontaneous for a walk, a coffee, or a movie. So it depends on where you are with this. Conversations that go deep quickly, that you can hold space for each other, right? Support flows both ways. It's reciprocal and does not always need to be requested, right? Nothing's worse than one person who's helping out a friend and the other person is never offering or even asking if you need help. Authenticity replaces performance, real talks about real things, and some signs of a healthy midlife friendship, reciprocity, emotional safety, shared values, celebration without competition. This is a good one to watch for because in midlife, there are moments when your friends may have arrived, you and your friends may have arrived at this stage via totally different paths and now you're aiming to find things you connect and relate to together. And of course, a good one to remember is no score keeping. And here's a great question to ask yourself. Who leaves you feeling more like yourself after spending time with them? And I'll even add to that, who lights you up, even just a little bit? I think, I don't know, by midlife, I feel like I don't know what kind of radar it would be, energy radar, but I do feel I'm very in tune with what lights me up and what fills me up and what drains me and, you know, takes out my light. So I don't know if you have that also, or it's something that you're exercising now that you're here in midlife. There's also the rise of the chosen family at this time, and this is a beautiful topic. Many women discover that the people who understand them today are not always the people who knew them 20 years ago. And again, this can feel sad, it does, but for how long? Meaning you could have friends that you've had for 20, 30 years, and maybe those friendships have changed. And so I think have some time to grieve this shift. It's okay. Grieve it with a good movie and a cry, a podcast learning about feelings of loneliness or social circles and a walk, maybe even a good therapist. but it can also feel liberating because sometimes your next soul sisters are women you haven't met yet. Think of that for a moment. I know for me, I again have carried by my side so many beautiful women and still do today and friends that I've known for 10, 20, and 30 years. And I consider that such a gift. But it is okay to meet some new friends in midlife. And what a better way to get to know who you are again and what lights you up. It's true, but with time and such shifts, you can be outgrowing old friendship dynamics, finding new women friends aligned with your current values or interests, building a community intentionally, whether single, divorced, empty nesting, widowed, and so on. You could be creating traditions and rituals with friends. And I love this one because it may be great to have a monthly dinner or game night that you can count on. Maybe it's a weekly brunch like the ladies from Sex and the Cities meets the women from Golden Girls. Maybe it's an annual vacation together. This is where you get to create the life that you want. And back to effortless connection. I think that we all want it, right? Easy, effortless, but relationships take work, or nurturing is a kinder, caring word. I'm not sure why I think just because I'm older and have friends that change won't occur and everything will remain the same, but it doesn't. Friends move away, friends divorce, or they enter new relationships with partners. Health issues arise, and mobility is different for some. Or some are caring for aging parents now as a priority, and their time is limited. So, midlife women often become protective of their peace. A friendship no longer qualifies simply because it's familiar. It needs to feel nourishing. And this is the reminder of what you're looking for, what you're feeling. And you could explore things. Green flags would be ease, laughter, mutual support, emotional maturity, reliability. Red flags that you may have embraced before, but not anymore. Drama, gossip, constant crisis, one sidedness, and emotional dumping. Here's a good quote: "The older I get, the more peace becomes part of my attraction criteria." So let's dig in a little bit on conscious relationships and romance. So, what does, women that are looking for love at this stage, I mean, while maintaining or obtaining new friendships, they may be also asking, what does love look like now? What do I actually want here in a partner or a relationship? And what am I no longer willing to tolerate? And this isn't about settling down, it's about waking up. So remember that when you're feeling down or having a moment of what feels like loneliness or grief, it's simply a cue to nurture and tend to this part of your life, meaning in between, searching for love, searching for a partner. I feel that you could have the same feelings that you have in searching for new friends. All that to say, in midlife, not everything around us has changed, but we have changed. And I'm serious about this as far as nurturing and tending to this part of your life, which is again typically having more time and space because relationships have changed. People are feel less needed. So I'm serious about potentially writing out a nurture plan for yourself. When these feelings come up, loneliness, boredom, grief, they're coming up and they may feel like, oh, something's wrong, but it's probably not. It's just a notification. It's just a sign to yourself. And, instead of feeling like I don't have a plan, I don't know what to do, maybe you can have a list on hand of what you would like to do or who you'd like to call, to go to a movie on your own or with a friend, a walk at the beach, a hike in the mountains. a massage for some physical touch. Take time out to read that book in a coffee spot that you love. Maybe a little shopping spree for a new perfume or lotion, and so on. But for some, I know my brain works on lists and plans and having something physical or visible. And it could just be a cue card, and you could have it in your purse, you could have it in a drawer. And when those feelings come up, you could go to it and you go, "Ah, I already know what to do. I already know what I want to do." Um, if you're single here and looking for love, the new standards would be emotional availability, consistency, kindness, shared values, physical chemistry, mutual respect, instead of looking for potential, looking for projects, looking to fix or chase. I mean, at this stage of life, attraction without alignment is just another distraction. And if you're partnered, married, in a relationship, the conversation becomes, how do we create a relationship for who we are now, especially after raising children, career building? Some may be retired at this stage already, or going to caregiving years, in the immediate or on the rise, surviving challenges of all different sorts. I know, again, as we age, we may lose more people in our life, health issues. So the questions would be, how do we have more fun together? And goodness, how often do you ask yourself that if you're in a relationship? How do we grow instead of simply coexist? And how do we create intimacy beyond responsibility? All great questions, and I'm sure there are many more to be asked. But one of my coaching friends told me about her son was graduating. I think both had, or maybe one had, and her and her husband planned a trip together. And so it was like they were empty nesting, but they had something to look forward to. So there wasn't like awkward silence or what do we do now? They had something to look forward to connect in a new environment, celebrate their part of the journey, and making new memories together. So, one of the greatest gifts of midlife is realizing that relationships are no longer about who chooses you, they're about who you choose consciously. The friendships, partnerships, and communities you build now become the ecosystem that support your next chapter. And maybe that's the invitation to stop collecting relationships out of obligation and start cultivating connections that feel like home. And here's how I want to end today's chat combo is the freedom of not outsourcing yourself in midlife. One of the most liberating lessons of midlife is realizing that not every need requires another person to fulfill it. It's also about recognizing that no one person is responsible for meeting every emotional, intellectual, social, spiritual, or physical need that you have. And if that's new for you, it's okay. Many women have spent decades looking outside of themselves for stimulation, validation, companionship, adventure, or even permission. And I always want to add in there, sometimes that's not 100% by our doing. It's also, I think, our environment contributes to that. But it's what a lot of us have learned. And midlife often brings the realization that some of what we're craving isn't another relationship at all. It is a deeper relationship with ourselves. Sometimes what we're craving isn't a new friend, a romantic partner, or someone to rescue us from loneliness. Sometimes we're craving novelty, adventure, creativity, intellectual stimulation, sensuality, or simply a deeper connection with ourselves. And again, for years, as women, we may have outsourced those needs. We expected friends to entertain us, partners to complete us, or even relationships to fill every empty space in our lives. But midlife invites a different question. What if I could meet some of those needs myself? What if I took the trip, joined the class, started the hobby, had the adventure, read a book or joined a book club, went to the concert, learned the skill? I recently bought a concert ticket front and center, amazing seats to Foo Fighters, and it's a solo ticket for me to go on my birthday weekend because I wanted to go, and I respect my friends didn't want to pay as much as I was willing to pay, being that it was my birthday weekend, but I didn't want to miss out, and I wanted to go and go to this concert, and I know I'm going to have a great time. The healthiest relationships aren't built from neediness, they are built from wholeness. When we stop expecting one person or one friendship to be everything, we create space for relationships to simply be what they are, a meaningful part of a rich and fulfilling life, not the source of it. So, a reminder, midlife isn't about finding yourself, it's about finally choosing yourself and choosing the people, relationships, opportunities, and adventures that get to come with you. I hope today's conversation reminded you that midlife isn't about settling for what's left. It's about consciously choosing what's next. And if today's episode gave you new insight into relationships, discernment, or what it means to reset or refresh your friend circle, please like, subscribe, or follow so you don't miss what's next. New episodes drop every Monday, and you can also watch this conversation on YouTube. And if a woman you know has been seeking her tribe or deeper self connection, but beating herself up that it doesn't exist or she does not have the time, share this episode with her. Sometimes the right episode arrives at just the right time. I'm Suzanne, your midlife wingwoman, and this is Men, Menopause, and Miracles. I'll see you next Monday. And until then, take care of yourself. Bye for now.